I'm Angela from The Real Cult, and today I'm spending some time with the horror miser, Monty G, on his series Women in Horror. Enjoy.
Y'all ready for this? Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is me, the horror miser, Monty G.
Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is me, the horror miser, Monty G. Welcome once again to Women in Horror, my awesome series where I celebrate the contribution women have done in horror, and I have a special guest. She is a great YouTuber and content creator. She's on YouTube, Instagram, and I believe Threads, if I'm not mistaken.
TikTok and YouTube mostly,
Mm,
but branching out a little bit here and there. But TikTok and YouTube are my main
yeah,
platforms.
yeah. Her name is Angela, and her show is called The Real Cult. Well, say hello to everyone, Angela.
Hey everyone, happy to be here.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I saw a few of her videos. I saw her mostly on TikTok. I said, wow, she's fantastic. I love her content. I love her nice sultry voice of how she talks about some of the movies. So I said, she definitely got to come on Women in Horror. So I'm glad that you're here. Have you ever heard about the movement called Women in Horror?
Maybe, but I guess I don't know that of it as like a movement, but I think it's something that it's women in horror have always been very prevalent, just like, and now it's a lot different with how they're
Mm,
portrayed, but yeah, tell me, tell me about
yeah. It was an organization. I think it started right after the pandemic, where they had this grassroots organization because it was the first time we actually had anyone actually celebrate the contribution women have done in horror.
it.
First, it was just a month. It was just a once a month thing. They started in February, but they decided to move it to March because they didn't want to go up against Black History Month. And
Hmm.
when I first saw it, I just say, "Hey, this is a good idea." So I decided to make videos, introduce women such as yourself, whether they have YouTube channels, wrote books, anything they've done in the horror genre, whether YouTube channels, wrote horror books, do cosplay, anything that they've done in the horror film, such as yourself. So this, I decided to first make it just a monthly series, but knowing how great this organization, how well this celebration have done, now I just do it year round.
I love it. That's great.
Yeah. So obviously, my first question to you, Angela, is going to be obviously when you take a look at horror, no one would think that horror would be for women. You would think that why would a woman enjoy something such as depressing, such as violent, such as gory, such as bloody, as horror? So how did you get to love horror? What was your first exposure to horror?
Well, I feel like that is definitely a mindset that a lot of people have, and I think that's evolved and changed over time. I have been into horror movies since I was a kid, and when we would go to the video store, I'd always pick out a horror movie, and luckily my mom would let me watch things because she didn't know about it and didn't know what they were, so I got away with a lot there. I think it was just, always kind of like a good escape from real life, you know?
Mm.
I've just always enjoyed it and loved like fun horror, but also branched out as I got older and I've watched all kinds. So,
I see. What was the first horror film that you got exposed to?
gosh, I wish I could remember what the first one was. I don't really know because I know I used to sneak when I was a kid and like watch anything I could find on TV, but um I do remember, like, watching, the original When a Stranger Calls, and it really
Mhm.
scared me and, like, stuck with me, and, like, I loved it, though, and I watched it, and then I would, like, tell someone, like, the entire movie. I would just, like, tell them the whole movie. And the part at the end where, like, they find out that the killer's in the house, and it's kind of a cliche now, but the original was, I thought, very
Oh,
scary at the
yes.
time.
Oh, yeah,
But
the original was scary at the time because, you're
Mhm.
dealing in the '70s, so we don't have the modern technology as back then as we do now. So the
Right.
fact that when Carolyn Coon realizes that, the police tell us that the killer's in the house. That's very
Yes.
frightening. It's very scary, and I thought that was a fantastic horror movie.
Hmm.
It amazes me since I've been doing this series. Everyone, mostly all the women, have told me they first started watching horror films when they were kids. Because
Yeah.
I myself started watching horror films when I was 6 or 7 years old, and my mother thought I would outgrow it, but unfortunately, that hasn't happened.
Yeah, no, same. And, definitely when I was younger, a lot more people, like, as, you were mentioning, they'd say, "Why do you like that?" Or like, "Look at me weird." And now it's definitely more widely accepted for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because I got the same thing. They're like, "Money, why you like that weird shit?"
Yeah.
It's like, "Why you like horror films?" So
Yeah.
everyone considered me weird too. But now it's because of what my exposure is to the horror genre and the horror community here on YouTube and some of the conventions I've been in. I see how many people, women, women, men, and even children. It doesn't matter. Where you're from, who you're from, the color. Whether you're straight, trans, gay,
Right.
lesbian. We all love horror. It brings the whole community together, and that's one thing I really love about the horror community.
Yes, I totally agree, and I feel the same way. I've always felt, like, comfortable in the horror community and safe, and, like, people are so kind, for the most part, and when I've gone to, like, a convention or been on, social media platforms and things, it's just yeah, I agree, very welcoming, nice, like, people outside of it wouldn't expect us to be, I guess.
I know they wouldn't think that, it's like, what, how can you be so friendly and how do you like all this weird
Yeah.
stuff? But we're all friendly. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
I think it's because we enjoy these films so much and we can get along whether we agree or disagree with the type of horror films, or whether we agree or disagree between Halloween and Freddy and Jason, or even what's going on with the horror community right now. We all like what we enjoy in horror, so we don't get caught up in some of the drama aspects of some of the other genres of films do.
Yeah, I agree, and there's definitely, something for everyone.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So my next question is, what are your thoughts on how women have been treated in horror films?
Well, they've gone through a lot, haven't they?
Oh yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, they've gone through a lot. I mean, definitely it's I've watched so many movies, and I mean, there's a lot I haven't seen, but I've seen a lot, and it's some of them are very difficult to watch as far as how women are treated in them, and, it's nice to see how that's changed and how, like, women characters have evolved to be smarter and, like and stronger and, um, you know, but yeah, it's hard to watch sometimes, especially in older horror movies.
Oh yeah, because
Mhm.
when I take a look at some of the older horror films where the woman was typically just a damsel in distress,
Right.
as opposed to what we see now in modern horror, where the woman is no longer she's the hero, or she
Yes.
doesn't make dumb decisions, or she doesn't happen to luck out and beat the bad guy like some of the final girls, some of the final girls
Right.
that we've seen before. So I like the evolution what we've come to when it comes to women in horror.
Me too. Yeah, I'm working on a review right now, that's kind of going over some of the, video nasty horror
Hmm.
movies. So those definitely the ones with, they're extreme there with the women and everything and how they're treated in the
Oh
movies for
yeah, trust
sure.
me, I know when it came to those films.
Yeah.
Okay, how do you feel about the evolution of the final girl trope in horror films? Like as I said before, when final girls just happen to luck out and beat the bad guy, as opposed to what we see now, like with Sidney Prescott and Scream, and some of the other final girl movies, like especially with Samara Weaving's final girl in Ready or Not, or Zazie
Mhm.
Bates, and they will all kill you.
Yeah, I think it's great, like you said. I mean, I think it's great to see, like, women kind of being the hero and being shown as a strong character and, like you said, not just a damsel in distress, not just falling down, not just and I love how Scream and Sydney, they've kinda, like, made a joke about it, like, just running
Hmm.
upstairs or falling down or whatever it is. But yeah, I think it sets a good example too for, maybe younger women or girls that watch it, and I think it's great.
Hmm. All right, my next question to you is going to be: have you seen The Descent?
Yes, I have.
Okay, good, good. Now, compare The Thing, which has an all male cast, to The Descent, which has an all female cast.
So, that's very different movies, but I think just in general, basing it on like the all male cast, all female cast, I think that generalizing it, women can be a little bit more relatable than men.
Mhm.
Because obviously women relate to women because of the obvious reasons. But then I think men can relate too because they look at women as like someone they might want to like save or protect. And I think that women can generally show fear and emotion a little bit more easily than men can. And I think that you usually like care a little bit more and men kind of have to work for that more in a movie.
Yeah, because when I look at The Thing and I look at The Descent, because we really don't get any movies like I would say horror movies like The Descent, where you just basically have an all female cast. And I just
Mhm.
happened to brought that question up because I like to hear what a woman thinks between those two films. When you take a look at The Thing, where you see mistrust and dissent between the men, but in The Descent, when things go to hell, the women tend to band together, despite some of the obviously tension going on between Juno and Sarah. But you can see they're all banding together. They're not fighting against each other, unlike with the men, which is understandable because in the thing you don't know who's who. But
Right.
in but in the descent, when the women all want to band together.
Yes, I think you're right. Yeah, for sure. When you bring up that point in
Mm,
the thing, they're definitely they're constantly suspicious and turning on each other, but there is a reason there for sure. But yeah, in the descent, they're kind of banding together more, working together more as a team.
hmm Yeah,
Hmm.
I like that. I like that aspect though. But it's the same. We don't get more horror movies where we have an all-female cast. But I'm thinking hopefully that will change.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Hmm
I like the idea of that too.
Yeah. Do you think there is a difference between a heroine in a horror movie to a final girl?
I think it's kind of like what we've been saying the evolution has become,
Hmm
the final girl might just kind of happen to survive.
hmm
And now I think when we think about the final girl, she is more of the hero and maybe helping everyone else survive and kind of like saving the day as opposed to just being the last one that's alive at the end of the movie.
Yeah, it's like this. When I take a look at They Will Kill You Now, Zazie Bates' character plays more of the heroine instead of the final girl because she's there to save her sister, and she just
Mhm.
goes about the whole entire film kicking everyone's ass, especially the so-called the Satanists in the film. But I really don't consider her a final girl as opposed to like say uh can't remember her name, Lupita Nyong'o's character in Us. She
Okay,
is
yeah.
she is a final girl in that particular film, even though we know when the twist happens, but she plays more of the final girl in that particular film. Or even in 28 Days, Day One, that character right there is another example where she actually is the final girl in that particular film as well.
Yeah, just being that more kind of like you're saying, like for the heroine, like taking charge, kicking ass,
Mm.
um, saving someone, it's different than just kind of like surviving and being the last one standing.
All right. Now, in this particular question, I have to ask you, I'm pretty sure you've probably seen all the films, and especially during the 80s. Do you feel women were disrespected or objectified during the early slasher films of the 80s with all that gratuitous nudity?
Yeah, I mean, I think they definitely were, and I think, you know, it's always been it's something that kinda goes along with horror though too, and it's because it's been a male-dominated industry with directors and everything like that. But yeah, for sure they were. It's hard to find a movie from that time where there isn't some sort of, like, unnecessary nudity.
Yeah, no, it's like you couldn't go through, especially you couldn't go through a horror film. where women expose their breasts or expose their buttocks or expose or full frontal nudity, and it really
Mhm.
had nothing to do with the film at all. It's
Right.
just like, we got 18 to 32-year-old males that are going to this particular film because that's what they thought, who went to go see horror films at that particular time. Never
Right.
thought about women were going to see horror films, so that's why they said we got to show all the skin.
Yes.
But obviously, that has now changed. We don't get to see all this gratuitous nudity like we did during the times right there. But I think they've really done a good job in making sure that we respect women. And obviously, if the film calls for it, then you actually will see it. But back then, it was just like, damn, do we actually have to see that?
I know. Yeah, and I agree. Usually it is unnecessary and doesn't really relate to the story. It's
Hmm.
just, like you said, put in there because that's what they want to see. That's what they think, or how they think about women, or like you said, who's going to see the movie, and that's what they want to. So,
Hmm. Yeah, I mean,
mhm.
I think one of the prime examples is when you see Jennifer's Body, how they unfortunately marketed that film because, again, the producers thought that 18 to 34-year-old males were going to see that film. So we got to have this hot scene between Amanda Seyfried and Megan Fox, where they have this makeout scene for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
And the film was not about two hot girls making out.
right, right. And I think that's even a woman director too, isn't it?
Mhm. Yeah, I no, well, yeah, it was a woman director, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah, because they both and Diablo Cody said that the film was not about two hot girls making out. It was the friendship between Needy and Jennifer, not about two hot girls making out. They were
right,
both disappointed that the film got marketed that way, and that's not what the film was about.
right. Yeah, agree.
Now, this next one, I'm pretty sure I always make sure I'm very respectful when I say about this. Um, Almost missed this one. Thoughts on rape revenge films? Do you think a male writer director can faithfully make them, or should it be a woman?
Um, I mean, I feel like most of the time they, again, kind of like the nudity, they're unnecessary, but I know that like they might have a different message in them. So, but yeah, probably a man can't really do it because they don't, I mean, they have done it. They've done it a lot, but like they don't have that experience, to speak to it, and not that a woman necessarily would,
Hmm.
but I don't know. I have like weird feelings about those because it gets tiring because it's like something that is such an obvious thing to put in a movie. Kind of like an easy way to show how horrible someone can be, like, oh, let's make this bad guy really bad by showing this. But yeah, I probably a man shouldn't be doing it.
Hmm. Yeah, because it's one of the most devastating things to put on film, and I
Hmm.
know most filmmakers, they try to be respectful when they make it.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like, when you take a look at the "I Spit on Your Grave" films, the
Hmm.
first film, when the woman goes to get her revenge, I cannot obviously see a woman who suffered that traumatic event do some of the stuff that she does in that
Yes.
particular film, in the original film. Now, I did like the remake. As brutal as that scene was, it really made me uncomfortable. The revenge part, I think, is even a little bit more believable, what she does to those men, because they deserve what they got.
Right. Yes.
Mm,
And I mean, definitely the revenge part obviously is, well earned for sure. But yeah, I agree. Like the original one, the way that they have her go about it is very unbelievable.
mhm.
And yeah. I just recently rewatched that because it's part of what I'm talking about in one of my reviews, and
Mhm.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like there's
Mhm.
no way in the world. I mean, come on. I mean, it's
No.
like, come on, dude. It's like there's
And
no way.
and how far it went too.
Yeah,
Like
I
I could
know. Yeah.
understand maybe for safety, like a certain like, but yeah, how far it all goes, I'm like, no,
Mhm. No, no, no
that would
way in
not
the world.
happen.
No. Do you think women directors of horror films are finally getting the respect that they deserve?
Yeah, I think, we're seeing a lot more, which is great, and more like in popular films. I think they've always kind of been around, but it's always been so heavily like male dominated, like the Masters of Horror collection.
Hmm.
They're all men. And when you think about horror directors, you don't really, not a lot of women come to mind. Um, so yeah, I think it's great that there's more women horror directors now, and they're doing more movies that are popular too.
Yes, yes, I know because when you take a look at Mary Lambert, who did the original Pet Cemetery, now, yeah, I
Hmm.
know it's a Stephen King book, and you want to promote the film because it's a Stephen King book, but you at least should give Mary Lambert some credit. I mean, she did a great job in that particular film. How she directed the film, so at least she should give some credit to the film. So that's basically what I'm saying. But yeah, I think
Yeah,
women directors, are getting some more recognition. I mean, I love what Nita DaCosta did with 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. She did a fantastic job in that particular film, especially that third act sequence where you see ACDC's music. No, wasn't ACDC, it was some other metal rock band. I can't remember the name of the. I think it was Iron Maiden. It was one of those metal heavy metal songs. Where,
I haven't seen that one.
oh, sorry, I
No, it's
didn't mean to
okay.
get the
Well, an
film.
American Psycho was
Mm.
a woman director
Oh yeah, and she
too.
did a fantastic job on that
Hmm.
particular film. You
Yes.
know, the woman whose name I can't, the French director who did The Substance, that was pretty good.
Mm.
She did a
Yes.
fantastic, yeah. So I believe as long as the films are good and they actually are, they actually do make the studios money, I think we'll see more women directors. I'm pretty sure Nita Acosta will once again get another project for her to direct because as good as that film was. I
Yeah.
know I think we're seeing more women directors. As long all they do is they need a chance, and as you
Agree.
want to get give them a chance because they deserve the respect as much as their male counterparts.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. All right, Angela, how did you or what led you to create your YouTube channel and TikTok and called it the Real Cult?
Well, like I said, I've always loved horror and always talked about it to anyone that would listen, and, tried my best to traumatize all my friends when possible. Um, and I'd been on social media before doing just kind of different things, and um, sometimes it's hard to kind of find what you want to talk about, or, um, talking about things here and there, and it's not really quite what you're passionate about. And actually, um my boyfriend mentioned something about it because horror like really brought us together, and we're always
Mm.
like watching things together and talking about movies, and he was like, you should make horror content. And I'm like, I could talk about horror all day long. So that's kind of how it came about. He really gave me the idea, and then I just like got really excited about it and started doing all kinds of different things and coming up with different ideas,
Mhm.
and then the Real Cults was born. So
Yeah. Pretty good, pretty good. Kind of like what I kind of like with myself. Uh, been watching horror since I was 6 or 7 years old. Never really got a chance to talk to anyone else who
Mhm.
loved horror as much as I did. And then when I got on YouTube, then I saw, other YouTubers, some of the bigger ones, like say the horror show, my good friends, the horror addicts, spooky astronauts, some of the other ones, darn it, Nightmare Maven, and some of my other good friends that I do live streams with.
Mhm.
Whether it's my good friend Sean Austin, the Horror Corner, Jen's Reviews from the Grave, Trivial Theater, and some of the other people who I've cooperated with throughout this time. And it was so nice to get involved and to see other people who love horror like I do. Because
Yes.
just as Nancy, just like Nancy said in the crab, we are the weirdos.
We are the weirdos. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it makes it even more fun when you
Mm.
connect with people, and I love seeing like people talk in my comments. Like I'll post something that hopefully people like, are something that's thought provoking, and I just see like all these little conversations going on. Um and I love that.
I know, yeah, the big conversation going on right now. Who's going to play Freddy Krueger?
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. I watched a really good video. Gosh, I can't remember the name of the creator. Um talking about who he thought should play. um, Freddie. And yeah, I wonder when we'll find out who will be. What do you think about it?
It's an interesting concept. I thought I saw one person put up a video. I can't remember their person's name, but he actually still thought that Robert Englund should still play Freddy Krueger. But it looked like he
Yes.
had him in some type of not a cosplay, mocap, motion capture, which
Mm,
I think I understand the reason why. But I still think we want to see a CGI Freddy Krueger.
no, no,
No.
definitely not. Yeah, I
I
mean,
get, I get. I said, no, no, no. Take
mm,
everyone out. If we don't see a motion capture, it's like we want to see a motion capture. We want to see it on the video game, not on the movie. Freddy Krueger is not a
yes.
no,
No,
no.
that's a character that you need to see and like it needs to be. Yeah. No
Mhm.
one can definitely ever, I don't think, be better than Robert England. I mean, he's always, I think, the best choice, but um, with a good story and the right person, I think it can still be a good movie,
Yeah,
hopefully.
yeah, because unfortunately, as much as I thought Jackie Earl Haley did a pretty good job, and
Hmm.
the Nightmare remake, it wasn't his fault that the script was terrible, and Mara,
Yeah,
whatever I can't remember, Rooney Mara, obviously did not do a good job as her version of Nancy at all. It's not his fault, but yeah, like I said, with the right director, the right script, and the right actor, you can actually have a decent, good Freddy as long as he's not trying to copy what Robert England has done for the character.
agree. Yes, because
Mhm.
you can't. It's not something
You
you can
can't.
do.
No.
He's the
I mean,
man.
put
You can't, yeah, can't beat him.
you know, I mean, it's just as good as Billy Skarsgård did with his particular version of Pennywise. He did not try to duplicate Tim Curry's version of Pennywise and his version of it. So
Right.
that's what you have to do.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. I did like those. I was actually surprised that I liked the remakes,
Hmm.
and the show. I did like the show also too. I know that's been kind of like a hot topic too that people have had strong opinions about, but I didn't think I would like it. A lot of times when I see that there's remakes of movies like that, I'm just like, "Ugh, why? Like just leave it alone." But I still give it a try, and I was
Hmm.
pleasantly surprised with that one too. So
It trust me, is as much as people do not like remakes, it's just what Hollywood does now.
I know.
Unfortunately, we're not going to get any original stories. It's going to be
Mhm.
remakes, reboots, or reimagining of old stuff. I mean, that's just what it is right now. We can hate on it, we can cry about it, and make videos about it. It's just what Hollywood is going to do right now.
Yeah,
It's
we
just what
can't
they are.
escape it. We
Yep.
can't escape it, that's for sure. I just posted recently, and maybe you saw like they're gonna do a Reanimator remake.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. I guess it's like kind of more of a prequel, but still, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I saw it on Bloody Disgusting, but I heard there's supposed to be some type of prequel. I'm like, prequel? How are you gonna make a prequel? I don't get
Yeah,
it.
I
Okay,
know.
oh,
It's
yeah,
so yeah. We'll see. I don't know. Hopefully
yeah,
it's a good movie. I mean,
yeah, it's good. Yeah, I guess they're going to show how Wes became the person that he was and how he created that formula that reanimates things. So I guess that's how they're going to play it. I guess they
yes.
decided not to do another remake of the original Reanimator. I guess it's a reason. So it's like I said,
Yeah. It's interesting because yeah, they show how he kind of became that way, and like it sounds like his father was the one that made the
mm,
serum.
mm,
And then maybe he just, I guess, went a little further with it. But yeah, it sounds like his father was the one that originally made the serum and used it on his mom.
mm,
So yeah, I'm curious to see how that goes, I guess.
mm. All right, who is your favorite Final Girl and why?
Oh gosh. Um, I do love Sydney, kind of because of the things that we mentioned, and
Mm,
also Nancy from, Nightmare on Elm Street, because she also started as just like not she wasn't ever really that damsel in distress. She right away was taking charge, not gonna be scared, not gonna be pushed around. So I kind of feel
mm,
like she's kind of the ultimate like beginning um
mm,
of that kind of heroine character. So I would say those two are probably my favorite.
Okay. Do you consider yourself a gore hound?
Um, I would say there's definitely like I've gone through phases, you know.
Mm,
There I've definitely said I love gore for the sake of gore many times,
mm,
you know, and I think with certain movies, yes, kind of. I mean, I love like really cheesy 80s slashers, but then when it comes to some newer movies like I don't know, like Terrifier and the Saw
mhm.
movies, like they're fine, but to me, those aren't like when I think about like gory movies that I want to watch, that's not what comes up for me. It's more like cheesy, like slashers, Evil Dead original, and things like that. So I don't know if I would be like a modern gore hound or not.
You
I
ever
do love a gory movie.
did you ever see I don't know if it's, I can't remember if it's Japanese or Chinese, but you ever see a movie called The Sadness?
I just watched that recently. Yes. That was interesting take on a zombie movie. Yeah. Somebody had told me to watch it, and
Mhm.
yeah, that was an interesting one. How do you feel about that one?
That well, it's not more gory. It was more violent. I mean, there's blood and there's crazy shit that happened in that particular film, but it was more ultra violent to me than gory.
Yeah.
You know, than gory. When I think of gory films, I think of like Peter Jackson's either Brain Dead or Dead Alive,
Yes.
the
Mhm.
original Evil Dead. Even this particular Evil Dead Burns, I thought that was very gory. And when it comes to Evil Dead, not as bloody, but just plain gory. You
Mhm.
know, some of the early '80s slapstick horror films. You know, some of the stuff is gory. Even like say some of the Japanese horror films, like the Tokyo Gore Police.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. That's what comes to mind for me too. I love Dead Alive and the early Peter Jackson, Bad Taste and
Hmm.
Blood Diner is great, and of course the original Evil Dead movies. So
Uh,
good.
yeah, I asked that question because you would be surprised that most people be surprised that women would actually enjoy gore. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, because you would think that's not a thing that women would like. Women would like to see the insides cut open and blood everywhere, limbs dismembered, and people being eaten alive. I
Yes.
don't think
Yeah.
women are going to enjoy that one. But
I
it's
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. When I've been doing this series, I actually kind of find surprising that a lot of women are gorehounds.
Yes, yeah, and I can really appreciate, you know, the practical effects too are
Mhm.
can be so amazing when you're watching something really gross, but it's like, "Oh, that looks so cool though, like, how did they do that?" Yeah.
Yeah, because I actually had a feed on my Instagram about this woman who actually did practical effects for a living, and she actually did some good ones too. I never got a chance to get her on Women in Horror, but I would love to have her on and explain to how the process she does of making the effects that she does. But like I said before, when most people find it strange to see that women are gorehounds.
Yes. Yeah, I know, right? But we think that stuff is cool too.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's like
Yeah.
when you don't explore, when you just think that horror films are only for 18 to men or males 18 to 35, not understanding that women love horror just as much as men do. So that's why the limitations come when you don't actually. And now they're finally to realize that women do love horror films. So now you're making films that horror films like To Descent or films where you actually see women kick ass, just like in Ready or Not or Ready or Not Two, and They Will Kill You. Films like
Mhm.
that.
Yes, agree. Yeah, we wanna see it too, and we also like the gore, and we like all the weird, scary things, so
All right, my final question to you, Angela, will be: if you could create a horror film, what kind of horror film would it be, and what subgenre would it be?
Ooh, gosh. Um, I wanna say a slasher because that's kinda tends to be my favorite.
Hmm.
Um, but I also love, like, a good found footage, and I think if I was really gonna like make something, that might be the first one I would try, just because you can do them sometimes like very simply, like with almost no budget.
Hmm.
Um, so I might, but if I could like do anything, it'd probably be some kind of a slasher film.
Okay, okay. All right, Angela, I want to thank you very much for participating in Women in Horror. And of course, if you want to find her channel, or I'll leave her links in the description below for both her YouTube and TikTok links below. And once again, Angela, thank you very much for participating in Women in Horror.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay. And of course, once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G. And always remember, horror rules. Thank you very much. And please stay safe out there.